Once you make the decision to go forward, what happens? You meet the mentors, right? The guides show up. The people in your life, the supportive characters, they show up. And then you end up with a posse, right? A party. Everybody ends up with a party of heroes and characters that are kind of move along with them, right? Remember Lion King? Like he had the pig and then the little guy, right? And like, then he got his posse and it was like a badass, right? Right? Like we all kind of, like we're in that room right now. Show of hands if you're catching this. All right, and this is how I met the Russian prince. This is how I met Darina. I was in a room just like this. And the guy just happened to be like, hey, anybody who's single, stand up. And I stood up, and she stood up, and she looked back at me, and I looked at her. And it's been 7 years, so let's give Darina a round of applause. She's amazing. Rooms like this will change your life. She's been at my side taking over the world for the last 7 years. Well, 3 years off, because I was a player for 3 years. I take that part. Yeah. Who knows we make mistakes? Who here has not made mistakes? I mean, if you haven't, then, right, we've all made mistakes. At least I was able to build back and build something from the mistakes I made and acknowledge it and never made that mistake again. Not recording that next video, not jumping into finding your posse, your team, your mentor, and not going all the way. You'll wake up one day and realize that was a mistake. If I'd been with her 3 years earlier, I'd be a billionaire by now, guaranteed. Right? I'm only a pentamillionaire. That means 5 millions. But I think she has a lot to do with it. Show of hands if you agree. Right? I wouldn't be on the stage if it wasn't for her. She's the one who's always like, yeah, you got to speak. She'd be like, did you get your PowerPoint sent into Austin yet? I'm on it. I'm going to do it right now. Right? Did you do that interview with Karen? Karen wants to talk to you. Did you sit down and talk to Karen? I'm going to talk to Karen. I want to make sure that gets done. Right? The people you have in your life, it takes 3 things to become a millionaire. It takes knowledge, network, and accountability. You can't get around it. Impossible. Knowledge, network, accountability. By the way, as you're talking to your clients, you need to say this to them. It's really important. Knowledge, network, and accountability. You are both their knowledge, you're their source of network, and you are their accountability partner. True or true? Right? Now, when you work with investors, I'm going to talk about investors a lot because investors are where all the money is coming up because it's a gold rush. What happens during a gold rush? Anybody remember? That's right. Everybody's a professional. Everybody's a miner. Everybody's like, let me jump in. So we're kind of at that point where the euphoria is starting to end. All the people who are buying and thinking they were good investors, they're buying houses in Florida. They're buying houses in Florida, like vacation home rentals. They're starting to realize it's not working the way they thought it would on HGTV, right? They're starting to see like it's not quite like that. Like, no, the interest rates are changing and shifting, and like they're starting to weaken the market. And there's a story, there's a book that was put out. It's called 3 Feet from Gold. Anybody who's been in the coaching space, personal development space is familiar with this story. And what happened was these miners went out, they bought all the equipment, they bought the land, they started mining, and then they couldn't find gold. And so what did they do? They gave up, right? Like it's like you post a couple videos, they're kind of half-assed videos, you didn't check in with your mentor, you didn't sign up for the mindset stuff, and then a couple weeks later you're just like, videos don't work. I proved it. I got proof. Look at my channel. 2 subscribers. Nobody bought real estate with me this week. Maybe the video thing doesn't work. Right? We can prove it to ourselves. So the miners, they left. What did they do with all the equipment? What did they do with the land? They sold it back to the person who sold them in the first place, right? At a discount, a steep discount. And now that person went and they called up the professional, the expert. The expert went out, surveyed the land, took a look at what was wrong. It's kind of like a metaphor for videos, isn't it? They took a look at what was wrong, what was going on, and they said, you know what? These guys were 3 feet away. If they'd had only dug right here, they would have made their money. And so now the new owner of the mine, who bought the mine, by the way, at a discount, and who bought all the equipment from the old miners at a discount, now that person says, well, I've paid a professional. Let me go and take a look at this. He digs, he finds gold, rich. There's 2 types of miners in this world, right? There's 2 types of agents in this world. We're agents. We're mining. We're prospecting. True or true? right? We're out there that's what they call it. It's called prospecting, for God's sake, right? Like we're literally miners of the world. And we want to stop having to go out to them. We want them to come to us, right? That's another thing you said that got me. I was like, yes, preach, sister, preach. We want the clients coming to us. We want the prospects coming to us. So I'm going to share with you why I don't like average home buyers. Show of hands if you've worked with them before, average home buyers. Yeah, they're the average. I would assume you'd worked with them. Excellent. I'll show you why I don't like them, and I'll show you why I do like investors. First, my problem with the average home buyer, I only got one problem with them. They only buy one house every 7 years. That's my only problem with them. I don't mind that they don't care about how much cash flow. They just boom. I'm going to work with you, agent, and you are transactional for me in my life. I'm going to see you one time, and then I'm out. That's not the premise of a good relationship, is it? No. So I said I got tired of that. Now, the average real estate investor wants to buy 7 houses every single year. And the only reason we stop buying houses is we either run out of money or we run out of deals. True or true? Every investor you ever meet is like, call me if you got something. Every investor you ever meet will be like, you got an off-market list? Who's heard that? Yeah. What do they want? They want more deals. They want more deals. And the only other time they'll stop buying is they run out of, say it. Money. That's right. Money, capital, moolah, whatever, dinero, what do you call it, what you want? The greenbacks. So this training is something we call realtors working with investors. Because when the market turns, there's only one client that is guaranteed to still exist. That's right. They're the only ones who know how to buy in a market like this. The interest rates go up, investors are like, I don't give a shit. Numbers changed, but I'm still submitting an offer. The only way to buy real estate is if you submit in. The only way for a buyer ever to work with you and close on a deal is if they submit a. So we want to work with people who submit offers. I was asked last night, right? Trish, you asked me, you said, well, what about these investors that they submit these lowball offers? What do you do? I said, Trish, I submit the fucking offer. How many more do you want me to send? I'll send them all. And I do it in a simple way, right? I don't write up the whole offer. I send an email. And by the way, I apologize. Is it okay if I swear? I'll stop. I'm going to tone it down. I can? Let's give Karen a round of applause. She's the best ever. I love her. I'm from Boston. It's like censoring goodness. It's like you don't want to take the flavor off the pizza, So there's 2 types of investors. We're all familiar with them. First, you've got the prospect. Love prospects. Prospects are actual buyers who actually close on real estate. And they buy 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 houses. My biggest year, most houses I ever bought was 24, no, it was more, 30 deeds in a single year. Who'd love to be my agent? Right? And I'm not even my own agent. I'm a licensed agent. I don't close my own deals. Right? Trish's like, call me. Let's go. I love prospects because they're actual buyers. Sorry, I thought that I'd put up there. They're actual buyers who are ready to buy real estate now. Always ready to go. And then there's the suspects. Now, look at these 2 words. Yeah, exactly, right? You got suspects and you got prospects. And suspects look the same, sound the same. They practice the same words. I'm thinking about submitting an offer. Oh, I like that sound. Thinking about submitting an offer is not something an investor says. Investors say, can you please put this offer in? Suspects say, I'm thinking about submitting an offer, because suspects are investor wannabes that keep you busy, buzzing around, looking for deals. They're not yet ready to buy, and I use the word yet very intentionally. They're not yet ready to buy, because every suspect eventually turns into a prospect if they have the right knowledge, network, and accountability. Knowledge, network, and accountability. Every suspect eventually becomes a prospect. I was too once a suspect. They say every master was once a disaster. True or true? All right? And you in your video may find the same thing once you align yourself with taking the right action. So all my videos are obviously about real estate investing, because that's the magnet, the lead magnet that draws them in. Then you go to ibuildmillionaires.com, which I'll let you do that. ibuildmillionaires.com tells you what every investor wants. It's a good opportunity for you to learn what every investor wants.